Right, just hope you can see me. I'll just tilt this down. Lovely, lovely. Right. Just find standing into a comfortable position. Shoulder width, a little bit narrow, doesn't really matter. And start to roll your shoulders. And as you do so, just become aware of your shoulders, your neck, part of the posture. Think about the hips, sort of taking perhaps even do some circular motions with the hips. And as we go through this, just slowly might feel the sort of knees stabilizing you while we're standing, and just try and get a sort of grip, almost you might be skiing down the slopes side to side. I use these examples as if I've never actually skied in my life, to tell you the truth. But so yeah. But I look forward to it. Hopefully one day. Just shift your weight side out to there. Yeah. Keep breathing while we do this. What I'd like us to do, just wrap the hands. We went through some hand-specific and grip-specific exercises, and how important it is to have a good strength in our grip, but also to maintain the strength in our hands and throughout the shoulders. So shake the hands out as we stretch through. Keep the elbows straight. You should feel a much better stretch. Great. Just a few seconds. Just get the fingers to move. Almost. Just get the reactions, reflector muscles. Ready? Good. Right. What I want you to do is, hopefully your hands are feeling a little bit warmer. If you're not, they can rub them together. I'd like you to take one open palm against the side of the temple, side of the head, and just create this steady, continuous sort of static strength, known as sort of isometric exercises. Okay, so just keep it pushing for about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and just let go easily. Don't release it too fast, because sometimes neck muscles can sort of respond by spasming almost. So just go through the other side as we keep standing. And as we're standing nice and upright, keep pushing. Try to keep the balance between the hips. Just don't stand on one leg, yeah, like I sometimes do also. And switch. Right. Let's go to the forward. So you should be feeling like you're gliding your chin forwards. Ready? 3, 2, 1. From a tall position, push the head forwards. Keep resisting for another 3, 2, 1, and let go easy. Now, if you take both hands, perhaps you can interlock your fingers together like so. Take it right behind your back of your head and just glide your chin back for me. Ready? Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go easy. Just as you let go, just use your fingers to just perform this sort of downward strokes. You're more of a muscle, sort of triggering necks of the parts of the body, especially if you sleep awkwardly on the bed. Who hasn't had a stiff neck, right? Come down to these clavicles. Clavicles are quite flexible, actually. They can do a lot of movements. They go through quite repetitive motions. So you can try to if you actually place your fingers just right top of your clavicles here, and just try and move your chin down all the way as much as you can without bending your spine. So keeping the spine straight, and then point your chin up. You should actually feel how much the stretch you may feel in your clavicles. Just do this about 5 or so in your own time, and just feeling the gentle stretch in the neck and the chin down all the way, and repeat this for 2 or 3 more times in your own space. You can actually close your eyes, and if it's too easy, you can actually stand on one leg while you're closing your eyes. But that's just to challenge your proprioception. But otherwise, stand on both feet is fine. Good. Just to finish up some neck exercises, I would just want to remind an exercise that I personally really like doing. I do this daily. And then you can really never do too many of this, but 5 up to 10 would do really well. Think about gliding or pushing our head right back up this, or create this vertical line. So I call this turtles, but you can call whatever you like, but just keeping the shoulders open, and whatever you're going to end up tucking your right in, tuck the chin in, and glide your chin forward. So you're going to end up performing sort of like a almost like a turtle-like movements. That's the reason. If any of you have a better name for this, please do suggest. Yeah. You may feel a little sort of tension or stretch even, right as you pull the head back in. So just to remind you, it's not the tilt of the head, it's just gliding of the joints. Yeah, great. If you're just finishing up, let's loosen up. We're slowly going to introduce warm-up. So this is the part where we will increase the body temperature. I'm going to introduce something called a little more elements of cardiovascular fitness today. But please, if it's new, if you haven't done this sort of HIIT, which is high interval intensity training, we're going to do a small sample of this, just elevate your heart rate and then giving you enough time to recover. But this is a warm-up. Just go easy with this one. Hopefully you can see me nice and clear. And just what I'm doing, just waking up my feet, just transferring the weight from one foot to another. Yeah. Good. Just keep it nice and loose. Good. Just loosen up the whole shoulders. Just think about you actually getting ready, what we're about to sort of perform, this sort of movements. Some are unusual movements, some are quite natural. So see if you might see martial artists or boxers will do like a jabbing step. Look, shifting your weight onto the front of the leg and then shifting back. Yeah. Good. As you do so, let's add the upper body. So what I'd like you to do, as you step forwards, see if you can rotate your body into the space. So look, just like this, step, transfer the weight in towards the leg. So whichever leg is forward, step, turn into it. This way. Step and turn. Make sure you're not jumping straight away, just build this up with more of a step. Step forward, twist the whole body. And as you're twisting, be mindful that you also turn your head. Nice. Turn your eyes. Keep your eyes sort of horizontal level. Keep breathing. Now, can we speed that up? So if you want to add a little jabbing step, like an almost hop and turn. Just progress this. You can keep your elbows a little sort of shoulder height and twist. A step is fine. We have for another 5 seconds. Keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1, and just loosen up. Right. Slowly drive, just step ups. Just start with a simple knee raises, almost just getting the knees to come up. And I really like to suggest and remind you, don't just think about knee raises, although knees are the joints that are actually lifting, but what drives the knees to sort of the major joint is the hip. So really think about your hips are doing sort of almost like shoulders would do this, right? So that's what the hips are doing right now. Boom. Transferring the balance from one leg to another. And once you sometimes shift your thoughts to the hips, knees actually become a little bit easier to lift. Even easier. Good. Keep breathing for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's look at this, some knee flexion, not forgetting the knee step. Knee flexion is a good way to get the stretch in your thighs as well. So if you perhaps take your hands behind you and look at sort of touching your heels back of your hands if it's possible, yeah? Like, so you can go around the room if it's not making you too dizzy. Good. Okay. Slowly come to a standing position. Right, stand shoulder width apart. I'm going to demonstrate this rotational turn. So I want you to really think about turning the whole body around. Perhaps you can actually choose like an object behind you if you're really close to the door or wall behind me. Just, yeah, you won't be able to. Perhaps choose a small dot and then look at that dot each time you turn. If you have a spot or mirror behind you, yeah, just look at yourself. Just perhaps think about, is it easier to turn one side, or are you turning more on one side or smoother one way than the other? Yeah. Turning knee also, and the one that becomes a balance. Yeah. Okay. Keep going for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come into a slow position. Okay, just let's look at one more exercise, which is a part of the body we use a lot and lots and lots, which is our feet. And we'll be practicing this toe raises or heel raises, lifting the whole body up. And I just want to remind you, it's not impressive to go up quick and hold it there. Try to really work on your speed way down. So as elasticity stretches down. So really get this whole body to roll back gently onto the heels. If you wanted, you can actually use a gentle balance. If it's dead easy, keep your head, eyes on the horizon, chin tucked in, and let's go. You may slowly be feeling around the calf muscles. Calf muscles are made out of 2 muscles. If those of you wanted to look up the names, you can later. But they're known as gastrocnemius and soleus. The one is used more for sort of when you lift the knees, and one is more sort of straight up. Right now we're working what's called gastrocnemius. It's the bigger part of the calf muscle. So let's perhaps work that calf muscle, and you will feel the muscle working. Lift the one foot off. You can perhaps use this for a balance, a wall or a chair, and just do 10 single leg or calf raises, single leg heel raises like so. Yeah. I challenge you to do this without holding. And if you can do 10 without feeling the burn in your calf muscles, then you're doing a good job. Your lactate threshold is good. Oh, 2 more. Good. Yeah, very, very good. Change the legs. You can change faces sides if you like to. So switch the side. Let's go. 1. Slowly down again. 2. Slowly down. 3. 4. 5. Keep breathing. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, good. Walk around the room, perhaps have a sip of water, and we'll go through use the bigger muscle groups, the main section. Do as much as you can. I will always show you slight regression or different variations of exercises. So if you notice that body parts do not like the position, like squatting or lunging or bending, I'll give you alternatives as well, okay? Right, but if I may ask you to prompt you to have some small weights, cans, dumbbells, heavy books will do. Yeah, just have them nearby. And I'm going to remind you an exercise which we've done quite a few times. It's the loading of the weight into the hips, known as squats. People say, oh, it's quite a natural movement, but we can challenge that, okay? But if you create the mechanics behind the movement that are supportive, it can become more natural. So for example, if I was to keep my feet really close and perform this sit back and round my back, we're not creating an ideal position, okay, for this squat. So if I can just be mindful of having at least shoulder width stance, and then this way hips can be in like a primal position to shift the hips back. So if your knees come a little bit over, it's absolutely fine, guys. Look here, but just make sure your heels don't come off the floor for now, okay? Just keep the heels on the floor. Lower squat as low as you feel okay with the knees. Come up. Let's add the shoulder press. Ready? We have 60 seconds. Remember, it's not a race. Please be mindful of your breathing, your position of the whole body. 60 seconds starts right now. Let's go. Let's work, work, work. My suggestion would be to exhale way up. Yeah. Pop the hips on the top. Keep going. Good. Make sure the shoulders are going straight vertical above our head. Good. Keep going. Just checking the time. 15 seconds still to go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay. Just put the weights down for a minute. I'll get you to. Now this is what element of you don't need to be on the treadmill, or you don't need to be running on the road to have the improvements of your cardiovascular fitness. So what we're going to do, if you have heart rate, one of those heart rate monitors, great, you can check. Just let's see if we can jog on the spot like this, slowly. Even your toes, heels come up off the floor, great. Otherwise, knees a little bit higher. Yeah. Everybody's favorite is this jumping jacks that I'm not going to ask you right yet. If you can, of course, it gets the heart rate higher, but let's just jog on this spot. It's good enough for us. And come closer to the, sort of add this forward and backwards directions. You can even go aside like a lateral shuffles. Be careful as you navigate your way around the room. Good. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Another 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and great. Just idea is that we rest now, slowly lower the heart rate. So you may actually notice if you ask yourself and be perhaps compare the very first time you did this. Is it easier to recover now, or is it just as difficult, or just as or there might be some improvements the rate that you recover between some of these exercises. So if you can perhaps pick those dumbbells up, I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise, and there will be elements of sort of increased heart rate exercise straight after. So what we are going to practice, side raises, exercise for the shoulders, but I would like you to add a slight progression. So what we're going to do is this, look, step back on one leg, and then we are adding a side raise. So look just like so. 1, step back, side raise. Change your legs, step forwards, come back. So it's the ability to return the body in an upright position. So you don't need a lot of space for this one. Just a small step, stepping back, finding the balance, and a side raise. I think we are ready. 60 seconds starts now. Please alternate the legs. If it's easier to perform this on one leg, do you know what? Let's stick with one leg. Otherwise, keep alternating and perform the sideways each time we come back into a one leg stance position. Right, so alternate the legs. Come back. So there's an element of warming up or working on your balance, as well as if the weights are sort of challenging enough, you may feel the shoulders. You can actually do more than one raise if it's too light. So if you notice those weights they're using are very, very light, just go multiple repetitions on each time. All right, I'm going to check the time. We have 10 seconds remaining. Love it. Last one. This might be an extra. Now keep the weights in your hand. Favorites. Punching into the air. It's known as shadow boxing. Perform this without an aggression, but with some sort of vengeance, that you want to be precise with your punches. I think more of, I would say, controlled aggression, okay? Just don't go nuts, if that's the right word for some of you. Might just enjoy the sort of elements of using the body to create as much power. Don't just use the wrist or shoulders, bring the power from the hips. Oh, straight punches coming from the hip as well. Keep going. You can even try coming round, known as hooks, like around it, almost like a fishing, hooking the punch around. Keep going. We have 20 seconds remaining. Speed up a little bit. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe. Very good. Put the dumbbells down. Let's get the recovery into the body. So this is known as active rest. If standing still is a bit boring and you think, oh my God, you know what, why is Tony standing again? If you'd rather you keep active, just keep hopping on. You can, if you have a skipping rope, you can even skip in the middle or pretend that you're skipping. But it's, I do need you to have a breaks in between. It's completely up to you, but yeah, ideally a short break after each burst of exercise is great. Okay, let's use one more lower body exercise. And I may actually bring this close as I'm a bit further. We've been practicing this exercise for a couple of weeks now. It's the squats against the wall. So please find yourselves a solid wall or a door and creating almost sort of 90-degree angle, but ideally we want your feet to be away from the wall, at least half a meter away. So if it's it's about 1.5 foot in sort of other calculations. We haven't started the time. Just when you get in this position, just lower down, and we're going to aim this for at least 90 seconds. Just hold as long as you feel comfortable. Otherwise, if you want to have a break in between, let's go. Yeah, just bend your knees. You may notice a little bit more pressure going to the one knee than the other. And I sort of want you to don't just think about the pain in the knees, really think about your spine pushing against a solid object behind you. Tuck your chin in and breathe. At any stage, if your body wants to have a break, please do so. But I would like to challenge you and just go for that almost a little bit uncomfortable stage where everybody hasn't been there for a little while. So right now, although we're not performing any sort of movement, but body still has to use this strength known as isometric contraction. a sport that you could think of as like a tug of war, where both sides are pulling against each other. There's not much movement, but there's a great strength developed. Keep going. Can we hold it for another 20 seconds? That would make us quite a super level, superior level. Let's go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now get ready to come up slowly. Just easy. You can use the hands against the door. Start to climb up slowly. So glide back up. Well done. Very, very good. Just shake the legs out. Shake them out. Yeah. Good job. Good job. I'm just going to place you back into position. Hopefully you can hear me nicely. Great. Find a little space. We're not quite done yet. A side step. Think about this sort of stepping out, tapping. So as you step out, you don't want to end up putting too much weight onto this leg. A little tap and perform this overhead raise. Are we ready? For about 60 seconds. Once you get comfortable with this movement, I would like you to speed up. And you're actually bending this knee a little bit. It doesn't have to be a really big movement, but it's the hip side step overhead reach. Keep breathing. From a side, it would look like this. Keep going. 20 seconds left. Here we go. Next up, we'll have upper body after a short break. 10, 9, a little bit faster. You can go even more like a jump. 3, 2, 1. Oh, love that, love that. Good. Slowly, 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 slowly shake things out. Relax. Again, if you want to have a rehydration, just small sips rather than big gallops. Okay. While you're having a quick break, I'm going to demonstrate these two exercises that we're going to do for the upper body. So last week, if we were here, we introduced this tricep exercise, which was holding the weight, just using, or putting the weight on through the palm. So we'll do that in a moment, but I'd like us to start with creating this diagonal-like position against, you can use it off the edge of the bed, edge of the chair, edge of the stairs, whatever you have, or the floor, even a little bit harder. And what I would like you to try is create this sort of hip width apart gap between your feet, and the weight is on our toes. Heels are off the floor. And what we are going to do is almost creating this sort of reach, almost flying like a superwoman or superman. If you watch sort of ideas, basically, we take whatever we want to call a superman or so on, but it's just transferring entire weight on one shoulder and asking the body to stabilize. I want hips nice and low. Let's practice for another 30 seconds. Keep going, everybody. Ask yourselves a question. So, are the hips stable? Are my shoulders feeling strength to perform this movement? And if they're not, that's okay. A little shaking is fine, but make sure the spine doesn't shake, okay? Spine should be solid, like holding this position, squeezing the glutes for another 5 seconds. Keep breathing, 2, 1. Okay, guys, just take a few steps in. I might ask you to do this exercise one more time. Just shake the hands out. Now, this is where the wrist will work and support you in this position. So it's okay to do mini stretches. Sort of puppy stretch for the wrist. Derek, give this a go. Look, keep the elbow straight and then pull the wrist in gently. Don't pull it too hard, okay? Just you might feel the stretch in the forearms here. Great. Okay, we're going to move to the triceps. So For this one, if you are using one of those office chairs that has the wheels, be careful that it doesn't glide away from you. So I'd rather use something solid if it's possible, or perhaps edge the chair against the solid wall so it doesn't run away from you, okay? So position your hands, especially the palms of the edge your palms on the edge of the surface. Just walk your hips away from it so you feel like creating this position, okay? And those of us who are ready, just go slowly down. It's not up and down motion right now. Just bend, you're almost taking a dip with the hips. So dip it, but not quite collapsed, okay? Just shoulders are going through a great deal of stress right now. So the lower you go, more your shoulders have to support you, but just hold that position and really think about using the palm to stabilize you. Now, if this is easy, you can always make this move this position a little bit harder by extending your legs, just like so, completely straight. Otherwise, keep them bent. If you're still with me, add the small pulsing movements up and down, coming from the elbow. This is tough. So if you feel the burn, that means you're doing a good job. Slowly, slowly, keep going for another 10 if you're ready. Stay with me for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take a seat. Shake your wrists out. Good. Right, I would like you to just stand up nice and high. Just again, try almost lightly walk around, knees up, just this active rest that we've mentioned. Yeah, you can do 1 or 2. You can even stretch your shoulders if you just active stretches rather than holding stretches. 2, 3 seconds. Now we're going to perform this one more round. So you know 2 exercises already. They are stepping and reaching and the tricep dips. Just let's see how we deal with the second round of already what you know what's going to come. So it's not going to be anything unexpected. So just to give you sort of directions, we're going to aim about 45 seconds on each exercise again, with a short break in between. So let's find a position against a raised surface or on the floor, if you're feeling a little bit brave. Right here, time starts now. Let's go. So stable hips, strong shoulders, and then slowly start to raise the body into the space. Good. My suggestion would be to first shift your weight to the shoulder and then lift your arm, rather than just going straight with the arms up and down. Okay, shift, transfer the weight, use the little muscles like even fingers, your thumb, your elbows. Keep breathing. 15 seconds. You may notice that your foot, our toes, giving you a lot of grip. So that's a good sign. And slowly come to a relaxed position. Again, pressure will be building up around the shoulders, your hands. Shake the wrists out. And you know what's coming, those tricep holds. So slowly transition your weight. Get about 5 seconds countdown, just enough time to prepare you. 4, 3, open chest before we start, and then slowly walk your hips away from a sitting position and dip those hips. Dip those hips so you end up bending the elbow. Both, of course. So elbows. Again, if it's too easy, walk your feet forward, so creating a straight leg position. Keep breathing. Small pulsing-like motions to finish off with, if we have the strength. Otherwise, keep still. Keep holding that 90-degree angle with the elbows. Otherwise, up and down, dips. Love it. Another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly take a seat like that. Interesting to tell me how you feel at the end when we finish everything. So tell me how you feel in terms of the muscles working and supporting you in this different set series of exercises. So, little break. We have one more round of exercise to go. We're nearly there. Great. Okay. I would like us to do one exercise for a balance and one exercise for this strengthening this sort of abdominal region. People call this abs, abdominals, core muscles. Think about this midsection, the foundation of the body. And a lot of times we don't need to be doing many sit-ups or leg raises. Just having the foundation of holding this spine in an upright position. So we have different levels. So I'm going to show you two positions. One is slightly easier, perhaps. One is a little bit more challenging. So can we go with this a little bit? Yeah. So we'll do 2 series if you like as well. It's taking a sit either on a chair or on the floor. If you have an exercise mat, you can do this on the floor as well. Let me change it this way. So, and then taking the foot one at a time. It'd be good if you have a support behind you, so it just stops you falling backwards in case, but you don't need to create this big tilt. Even if we're just keeping the legs up and just round our lower back a little bit and just keep this stillness, strength. If it's easy, you can always tuck your knees or extend your legs out, but just not overstressing your lower back. Okay. Going to give you about 5 seconds. If you just come out of the position, if you're already into it, we'll all start together as a team. Get set in 3, 2, 1. Lift up slowly and create this almost like a V hold-like position. And breathe. Breathe from your stomach. You can always make this a little bit easier by holding your hands either around your chair or on the floor. Touch your fingers on the floor. If you're doing this. And the final progression as we are holding this, you can add a slight rotation. Coming from the torso. Keep breathing for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe. Down, touch down. If you're sitting on the floor, might be a good idea to reach out and stretch your lower back gently for about 5 seconds, not longer. And then roll up slowly. If you were doing this on the chair, stay on the chair. I am going to take this on the floor. And we're going to practice this just one more time. So, if you wanted to make this a little bit harder, this is where you come on down to the floor. I know some of you are doing this on the floor already. Just stay as you are and practice for about 45 seconds. Get set in 3, 2, 1. Tilt back. Keep your eyes right over your toes or the direction of your toes. Keep breathing. Again, let's start this rotation-like movements from the upper body. 15 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and touchdown, recover. Yeah, again, reach towards your toes. Whether if you're sitting on the chair, just dive down slowly towards your toes. Actually quite a nice stretch for the hamstrings, like sitting down or or being on the floor or a chair, just reaching towards the toes. It's quite an easy way to stretch your lower back and also hamstrings, which are two synergistic muscles that work together in the body. Oftentimes, kind of stretch your lower back without stretching your hamstrings. Okay, one exercise I would like us to finish up with is to do with balance. So I'm going to ask you, if you are barefoot, just try stand on your soft mat. So the idea is that we stand on something uneven. That's not necessarily unstable. So unstable probably is the right word. So rather than using the shoes to help us. So if you want to if you are wearing the heavy trainers, take them off, lose them for a minute or so, and stand on a towel or on a pillow if that's okay, barefoot, of course. And the idea is that I teach balance unstable objects, not always on the sort of hard floor. So it's a good way to just by shift the weight off this one side, and you can challenge your other leg to do different positions. You can try to sort of turn your hip around, or you can take the foot to the side. So I'll give you about 45 seconds on each leg. Doesn't matter which leg you will start with, of course. You can use the extra support by having that if you need to, of course. I actually like to keep my hands in front of me. As we develop a sort of progress, you can always, there's enough time, most of the time, to respond by reach or those of you who worked with me one-to-one, you might have done a falling exercises where I deliberately get people to fall, but sounds like a cruel way, but in a safe environment, everything is controlled. Good. What you could even do, think about you walking. We have 10 seconds to go. Think about just adding this extra, almost you're trying to be playful on top of your hips or walking on a wire, yeah? Just without losing the head control, just move up. You can even go front and back. Just do this really slowly though, yeah? So like up, taking a courtesy like a tilt. It's like, I can go aside for another 3, 2. If you're still on one leg, well done. Okay, you may actually notice as you finish up your calves, your knees, feeling a little fatigued. Okay, just shake the other legs out or shake both legs out and get ready for the other side. Again, practice is 45 seconds. And just ground yourself on one foot. Even if you have a slight, you can do hip swing almost. Yeah. Hands can go in front. Or you can use it for a balance, something. You can go. Yeah. Remember, knees always slightly soft. Hips, you're sitting on top of your hips nicely. Yeah. You can even finish off with some more speedy turns. Taking this sort of hip hinge-like position. Just as much as you feel comfortable. Doesn't have to be big movements. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Well done. Really good. It's always good to finish up with a mini stretches, small stretches. So walk around the room, shake your fingers, shake your legs out. Well done. Okay, everybody, just 2 stretches to finish things up. Take a step back and I'll give you a quick demonstration. So one leg stays forward, another goes back. And I would like you to, same leg as you're stepping back, you're gonna reach over your head, almost like you're reaching above your head on the other side and just holding that position and sort of, if possible, bend that knee down a tiny bit. It's not a lunge, it's more of a step back. Hold it. It's a great way to stretch out those sitting muscle groups, the hip flexor muscles. Squeeze the glutes in that position, and then you should feel a better stretch in your thighs. Good. 3, 2, 1, and step forward, step into it. Again, you can little break, should face the other way or same side, doesn't matter, but with the opposite leg, stepping back and reach slowly, reaching over with the other hand. So now our thighs, we have, when we say thighs, there's always multiple muscle groups working together. We have 4 different muscle fibers that make up a thighs or thigh area. So just always good to stretch. Different stretches for thighs, of course, but this is one of the good ones because it gets this long thigh muscle that runs through the knee, hip and the knee. Good. Step through, shake the legs out, and just finish up with it. Slowly keeping the legs nice and straight and just rolling down on top of your body. Practice this one very slowly rather than straight to the floor. Just sometimes slower you can perform this without losing the balance. The more beneficial it is for the, or better we stretch in our lower back. Slowly, slowly. And just be mindful how you will come up. Just build up from the lower back slowly. And inhale, exhale way up. Reach your arms up if you can. Keep the hips nice and close together. And a little, like a side tilt. Good way to stretch your latissimus side muscles. And just finish off with a nice big sigh of like,